Walk onto any used car lot in America right now, and I guarantee you'll see them, parked way in the back, covered in dust, priced so low it almost looks like a typo. The first one I'm about to show you, most people walk right past it. The second one, mechanics try to buy them before they even hit the lot. But the last one, that's the SUV I'd hand the keys to my own dad and sleep like a baby that night. And no, it's not German, it's not flashy, and it definitely doesn't come with a monthly payment that makes you question your life choices. Here's the thing. After 24 years turning wrenches, I've learned something dealerships really don't want you to figure out. The best cars for long-term ownership? They're not the ones sitting under bright lights with a salesman whispering extended warranty like it's a bedtime story. They're the ones nobody under 50 wants to be seen driving. Yeah, the boring ones. The ones that start every morning, don't leak, don't complain, and don't send you into a financial crisis because a sensor decided to have a bad day. On Old Man Garage, we don't chase trends. We chase cars that actually survive real life. So today, I'm breaking down 3 luxury SUVs that are ridiculously reliable, insanely comfortable, and built in a way that actually makes sense for older drivers. I'm talking about vehicles you can get into without doing a yoga class first. Vehicles you can see out of without turning your neck like an owl. And most importantly, vehicles that won't have you calling your kids because the repair bill looks like a mortgage payment. The third one is solid. The second one, mechanics fight over them. But the last one, oh man. If this one doesn't impress you, nothing will. Let's get into it. Number 3 on this list, and yeah, I know, starting strong already, is the Lexus GX 460, specifically model years 2014 to 2016. Now, before you click off thinking, that's a fancy off-road truck for rich guys who wear hiking boots to Starbucks, stay with me for a second. Because this thing, it's not what people think it is. A couple years ago, I had a customer, late 60s, retired engineer, the kind of guy who reads the owner's manual for fun. He rolls into my shop in a Mercedes-Benz GL 450 looking like he'd just lost an argument with his bank account. Air suspension failure, quote, $4,200, and that was just to start the conversation. He looks at me and says, "Should I fix it?" I looked at him the same way you look at someone about to microwave fish in the office kitchen. I said, "No, sell it, today. Like, before it breaks something else out of spite." He asks me what to buy instead. I tell him, Lexus GX 460. He pauses, looks at me, blinks twice. You could literally see him thinking, did this guy just recommend me a tank? 2 weeks later, he comes back in a GX 460. Fast forward to today, that SUV has 168,000 miles. You know what it's needed? Brakes, tires, battery, one wheel bearing. That's it. Meanwhile, his old Mercedes probably needed therapy. Now let's talk about why this thing is basically mechanical overkill in the best way possible. Under the hood, you've got a 4.6-liter V8, naturally aspirated. No turbo, no drama, no check engine light just for emotional support. It's part of Toyota's UR engine family, which in simple terms means it was built for places where if your car breaks down, you're not calling AIA, you're calling a Camel. It uses both port and direct injection, which is engineer speak for, we fixed the carbon buildup problem before it became your problem. Timing chain, not belt. So you're not dropping $2,000 every 90,000 miles just to keep the engine alive. And the transmission? 6-speed automatic that Toyota basically built once and said, yeah, we're done here. They didn't mess with it, didn't overcomplicate it, didn't add 10 driving modes named after weather conditions. It just works. And it keeps working. Now here's where it gets interesting for older drivers. Yes, it's bigger than something like a crossover. Yes, it sits higher. But Lexus did something very smart. They put side steps on every single one. So instead of climbing into it like you're entering a treehouse, you step, sit, and swing your legs in. Way easier on the knees, way easier on the back. The door opening is huge. I mean, you could get into this thing wearing a winter coat, carrying groceries, and still not bump your elbow. The seats? Heated, ventilated, adjustable in more ways than your office chair that cost way too much. And the visibility? Surprisingly good for something this size. Now let's talk money, because this is where people start paying attention real quick. A 2014 to 2016 GX 460 with under 100,000 miles is sitting between $24,000 and $30,000. Yeah, I know, not cheap. But here's the punchline. Compare that to a similar year German SUV, say a BMW X5 or a Mercedes-Benz GLE. And sure, You might save a couple thousand up front, and then you'll spend $5,000 fixing things that sound like they came out of a science fiction movie. The GX? It just shows up every day like a reliable employee who doesn't ask for a raise. Fuel economy, about 17 miles per gallon. Yeah, it drinks a little, but you know what else drinks a lot? Every V8 that doesn't last 200,000 miles. Pick your poison. Now, quick inspection tips because this is Old Man Garage, and we don't just hype cars, we keep you out of bad ones. First, check the rear air suspension. It's only in the back, and it's actually pretty solid, but around 130,000 miles, those airbags can start leaking. Not a big deal, about $400 to fix, but it's a great bargaining chip. Second, open that side swinging rear door. Yeah, it swings sideways like a fridge from the 1950s. If it feels saggy or misaligned, the hinge might be worn. That's around $600. Again, negotiation material. Third, get under the car. If it looks like it's been rock crawling every weekend, maybe skip it unless you enjoy replacing suspension parts for fun. Now, who is this for? If you tow. If you live somewhere with snow, if you want something that will outlive your next phone, your next TV, and possibly your neighbor's marriage. This is your SUV. Who should skip it? If you drive 60 miles a day and cry every time you see a gas station, or if parking something this size makes you break into a cold sweat, then yeah, maybe look smaller. But I'll tell you this, mechanics love these things. Not because they break, because they don't. And when they do come in, it's usually for maintenance, not a full-blown financial disaster. And real quick, if you know someone who's about to drop 30 grand on a luxury SUV that's gonna emotionally damage them in 6 months, send them this video. You might actually save their retirement. Now here's the thing. If this one already impressed you, the next one? Oh, the next one is where things start getting ridiculous. Because it does almost everything this does, for way less money. And that's where people start asking, wait, why isn't everyone buying this? Acura RDX number 2 on this list, and this is where things start getting dangerously underrated, is the Acura RDX, specifically model years 2013 to 2018. And let me tell you something right out of the gate. This is the SUV people ignore, and then regret ignoring. Because Acura, bless their hearts, builds fantastic cars and then markets them like they're apologizing for existing. Seriously, I've seen more excitement in a tax seminar than in an Acura commercial, which is great for you, because it keeps prices low. Now, let me give you a real story. Last year, a woman came into my shop, 71 years old, just had knee replacement surgery. Her daughter was with her, doing what daughters do, trying to make sure mom buys something safe and reliable. Their plan? Go buy a brand new Honda CR-V, because apparently in America, when in doubt, buy a CR-V. Now don't get me wrong, CR-V is a solid car. But I asked them one simple question. What's your budget? They said, $16,000. I said, give me an hour. Don't sign anything yet. Pulled up some listings, made a couple calls, and found a 2016 Acura RDX. All-wheel drive, leather seats, heated seats, 64,000 miles, $15,400. Same price as the CR-V they were about to buy, but about 10 times nicer. They bought it that weekend. 6 months later, she comes back for an oil change, gives me a hug and says, my knee hasn't hurt getting in or out of a car since I bought this. That's not marketing. That's real life. Now, let's talk about why this thing works so well. Under the hood, and this is important, you've got a 3.5-liter V6, naturally aspirated, port injected, no turbo, no nonsense. No, this engine is amazing as long as you follow these 17 special conditions. This is Honda engineering at its peak. Same engine family used in the Honda Pilot and the Honda Odyssey. Vehicles that regularly hit 250,000 miles like it's just another Tuesday. And the transmission, 6-speed automatic, not a CVT, not a dual clutch, not something that needs a software update every time Mercury is in retrograde. A real traditional automatic that just shifts. I've personally seen these go well past 180,000 miles with nothing but fluid changes. And the only ones that failed? People who treated maintenance like it was optional. That's not a car problem. That's a we ignored every warning light problem. Now, why is this so good for older drivers? Seat height, 23 inches. That's the sweet spot. You're not climbing up like you're entering a Toyota 4Runner. You're not dropping down like you're getting into a sports car. You just slide in, like sitting in a chair. Doors open wide, almost 80 degrees. which means no twisting, no awkward angles, no, hold on, let me reposition my spine real quick. Visibility? Fantastic. Because this was built before designers decided that windows were optional and blind spots were a personality trait. You can actually see out of this thing. Crazy concept, I know. Now let's talk money. A 2016 RDX with under 80,000 miles is sitting between $14,000 and $17,000. That's it. Meanwhile, a similar year BMW X5 is going for $19,000 to $24,000 and will probably send you a repair bill that looks like a student loan payment. Average annual maintenance on the RDX, around $500. The BMW, over $1,000. That's not a small difference. That's, I can go on vacation instead of fixing my car difference. Now, what to check before you buy one? First, test the power tailgate. Some of them get a little weak after a while. If it struggles, that's about a $380 fix. Not a deal breaker, just leverage. Second, listen to the engine at idle. It should sound smooth. If you hear ticking that doesn't go away, that's a sign it was run low on oil. And that's your cue to politely walk away. Third, if it's all-wheel drive, check the rear differential fluid. If it looks like coffee, yeah, change that immediately. About $150. Easy. Now, who should buy this? If you want luxury without paying luxury prices, if you want something comfortable, reliable, and easy to live with, if you want a car that doesn't make you feel like you need a mechanic on speed dial, this is it. Who should skip it? If you need something big, or something that tows, or something that makes your neighbors jealous. Because this isn't flashy, it's just smart. And honestly, smart usually wins in the long run. Now here's where it gets interesting, because if this one already feels like a steal, the next one, this is the one. The one mechanics recommend to their own family. The one that shows up at 200,000 miles like, hey, just here for an oil change. The one that, if you buy it today, might actually outlast your driving career. Yeah, that one. And now, number one. And listen, if you've been nodding your head so far, this is the part where you stop and go, all right, this is the one. The top pick. The one I recommend more than anything else. The one I'd put my own family in without thinking twice, is the Lexus RX 350. Specifically model years 2010 to 2015. Yeah, not flashy, not loud, not trying to impress your neighbor's cousin. But this thing, this is the definition of buy it and forget about it. I've got a customer right now, 78 years old, who bought a 2013 RX 350 back in 2016. At the time, it had 38,000 miles. Today, 142,000 miles. You want to know how much she spent on repairs in almost a decade? $1,890 total. That includes brakes, 2 batteries, and a window regulator. That's about $210 a year. I've seen people spend more than that on coffee. Actually, scratch that. This is America. I know people spend more than that on coffee. Now let's talk about why this thing refuses to die. Under the hood, 3.5-liter V6. The famous 2GR-FE engine, naturally aspirated, port-injected, timing chain, no turbo, no drama. No, this engine is amazing until 90,000 miles, and then it becomes a science experiment. This engine is everywhere. Toyota, Camry, Toyota, Highlander, Toyota, Sienna. Millions of them on the road, and they just keep going. 200,000 miles? Normal. 300,000? Happens all the time. I've personally opened up engines with over 280,000 miles that still measured within factory spec. That's not luck. That's engineering that actually made sense. And the transmission? 6-speed automatic. Toyota built it like they expected people to forget to maintain it, and it would still survive. I'm not telling you to ignore maintenance. I'm just saying this thing has patience. Now, let's talk about why this is basically perfect for older drivers. Seat height, 21 inches. This is what Lexus calls chair height. And for once, marketing didn't lie. You don't climb in, you don't drop down, you just sit. That's it. If you've got knee issues, hip issues, back issues, or just don't feel like negotiating with your joints every time you go to the grocery store, this matters more than horsepower ever will. The doors open wide, the floor is low, the steering wheel adjusts enough to fit basically anyone. And visibility? Fantastic. Because this was built before designers decided that style was more important than actually seeing the road. The ride quality? This is where it really wins. This thing doesn't drive. It glides. Potholes? More like suggestions. Speed bumps? Mild inconveniences. It's like driving your living room couch, but legally. And the cabin is so quiet, you can have a phone conversation at 70 miles per hour without yelling like you're on a game show. Now, pricing. 2013 to 2015 RX 350s with under 100,000 miles are sitting between $17,000 and $22,000. That's it. Meanwhile, a similar year Audi Q5 is in the same price range, and will introduce you to repair bills that feel like a personal attack. Timing chain tensioner job? About $2,800. The Lexus? Air filter. Maybe. Annual maintenance cost on the RX? Around $550. And honestly, in real life, I've seen it even lower. Probability of a major repair? About 9%. That's half the segment average. Half. That's not slightly better. That's sleep better at night better. Now, what to check before you buy one. First, dashboard. Some earlier models had cracking issues in hot climates. Most were fixed under warranty, but check anyway. Second, listen for any whining from the electric power steering. If you hear it, that's about a $700 fix. Not terrible, but again, negotiation fuel. Third, rear hatch struts. If the trunk starts coming down like it's tired of being open, yeah, that's about $80. Easy fix. And here's my pro tip. Find one owned by an older driver. Check the seat wear. If the driver's seat looks barely used, you found the jackpot. Now, who should buy this? Honestly, almost everyone. If you want one SUV you can buy today, drive for 10 years, and never stress about, this is it. If comfort matters more than cornering speed, if reliability matters more than brand image, if you want something that just quietly does its job every single day, this is your car. Who should skip it? If you need 3 rows, look at the Highlander. If you tow heavy, go back to the GX. If you want something sporty, yeah, this ain't it. This thing drives like a well-cushioned sofa. And you know what? That's exactly the point. So here's the deal. The GX 460, that's your tank. The RDX, that's your smart budget play. But the RX 350, that's the gold standard. That's the one you buy when you're done experimenting. Skip the overpriced German lease returns. Skip the brand new payments that make you question your financial decisions at 3 in the morning. Buy one of these. Get a pre-purchase inspection, take care of it, and it'll take care of you for a long, long time. If this video helped you, or if you know someone who's about to make a very expensive mistake at a dealership, send this to them. Seriously. You might save them thousands. And hey, this is Old Man Garage. We don't just talk cars. We help you avoid the bad ones. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around, because I've got more coming on the cars dealerships hope you don't learn about. Take care of your car, and it'll take care of you. I'll see you in the next one.